Hello. Today I have this lovely vintage ladybird book, and it's the Ladybird Keywords Reading Scheme, and this is book 1C. So if you've been following along, you've read 1A and book 1B. So here in book C, 1C, we are starting to write, to copy the words that we've used many times in the previous books. So if we look at this picture here, we can see there's Peter. Peter's got his roller skates on. Here is Peter. I like, and then you can see we have a P and we have to fill in the missing blanks. And we can see here the word Peter. Here is Peter. I like Peter. Here we are. Here's a picture of Jane picking buttercups in a meadow. Here is Jane. I like something, and we can see or make a good guess that the missing word is Jane. Here is Jane. I like Jane. Again, sentences that we've said many times through both books. Now in this picture, it looks like it's Jane's foot, but there's the dog. It looks like he's after a treat, playing with Jane. Could be a red setter. I'm not too sure my dog breeds, but I think that's a red setter. Here is a dog. I like the dog. And we can look at the word above to copy. Dog. Here is a dog. I like the dog. And in the picture we can see there's a shop. A few people in the shop looking for books and various magazines. Here is a shop. I like the shop. And look at the word above to help us fill in the gaps. Here is a shop. I like the shop. Now, somebody's left their ball behind by the looks of things, possibly ran in for their tea and forgot their ball. Here is a reddy orange ball. Here is a ball. I like the ball. Here is a ball. I like the ball. Again, looking at the word above to help us, we can fill in the blanks. I like the ball. And now on this next page, there is a picture of a tree, a very large tree. Here is a tree. I like the tree. Here is a tree. I like the tree. Let's fill in the gaps. Here is a toy. And if we look across, we can see it's a toy dog. One where you pump the air to make the legs move, and possibly the tongue. Here is a toy. I like the toy. I like the toy. So if we look at the picture to help us, we can see that there's a shop, there's a lady going into the shop, and there's a tree. So that helps us solve the something is here, and it begins with an S. So the shop is here. The something is here, and it's something that begins with a T. So again, if we look at the picture, we can see that there's a tree. The tree is here. The something is here. The something is here. So again, let's look at the picture, and we can see, oh, the dog is here, and the ball is here. So we now know the answer is the dog is here, the ball is here. Now here, split into category 1 and 2. So we'll start with category 1 that corresponds with picture 1. And in picture 1 we can see that there's Jane, there's Peter, and there's the dog. Peter and Jane like the dog, and we can see that they like the dog. Peter and Jane like the dog. So in picture 2, we can see that the dog has the ball in his mouth. I think he's playing with the ball. So the dog likes, and we can guess it's the ball. The dog likes the ball. The ball. Now here we have the word yes and the word no. And because of this here, a question mark, we know that we're being asked a question. Now in the picture we can see Jane and we can see Peter, and Jane is playing with a ball. So the first question is Peter here? So if we look at the picture, there he is. So we can say yes, Peter is here. Is Jane here? Again, we've seen Jane playing with the ball. So again, in answer to this question, we can say yes, Jane is here. And the last question is the dog here? Now, we can't see the dog, so again, we know the answer to this. No, the dog is not here. Is the dog here? No. So we can answer no. Again, we have the word yes and no. And again, because there's a question mark, we know that we're being asked a question. So there's Jane, and she's in a shop. So the first question is Peter in the shop? Is Peter in the shop? So if we look at the picture, we can't see Peter, can we? So we know the answer is no. So we can put in no. Second question is Jane in the shop? Is Jane in the shop? If we look over, we already said, didn't we, that Jane, there she is, she's looking at the books. So we can say yes. Is Jane in the shop? Yes. Yes, Jane is. And the last question is the dog in the shop? Is the dog in the shop? No dog in the picture, so we can answer no. Okay, so the questions here, same format, yes and no. Has Jane a toy? So if you look at the picture, we can see that Jane has brought her doll with her. So in answer to the question, has Jane a toy? We can say yes, she has. Yes. Has Peter a toy? Again, if we look over, we can see that in fact Peter does have a toy, a little toy dog. He's playing with it now. So has Peter a toy? Yes, we can put yes. Now, has the dog a ball? Has the dog a ball? So if we look over, I can't see no ball in the dog's mouth, and the dog is very interested in Peter's toy. So when we're asked, has the dog a ball, we can say no. So if we look at the picture, Peter's sat at a desk and he's writing. Peter writes. So Peter's writing. Peter writes. Peter likes to write. I like. And if we look at the missing words, we're saying that we like to write. Peter writes. Peter likes to write. I like to write. So we can copy the words here. To write. And there's Jane. She's got the same book that we have. Jane writes. Jane likes to write. I like to write. So we can copy the words to write. I like to write. Now, number 1, picture 1. There's Peter. Looks like he's buying some fruit and veg. Peter is in the, well, we know he's in the shop, so Peter is in the shop. And he's got his dog with him. The dog is in the shop. Picture number 2, Peter's climbing the tree. Looks like to find his ball. His ball's got stuck in the tree. The ball is in the tree. The ball is in the tree. And Peter is in the tree. Now, if we look here, in picture number 1, trees. Picture number 2, toys. Picture number 3 is Peter and Jane. And picture number 4, dogs. 1, 2, 3, dogs. So with picture number 1, I like trees. So we can look at this word and copy. Trees. I like trees. Picture number 2, we can see that it's toys. I like toys. Again, we can look at the word and we can copy. Picture number 3, I like Peter and Jane. Peter and Jane. I like Peter and Jane. And the last one, number 4, I like dogs. If we look at picture number 4, dogs. I like dogs. Okay, number 1. If we look at the picture, it's Jane and the dog. Jane has the dog because she's holding the dog. Jane has the dog. The dog. In picture number 2, Peter's playing with a ball. Peter has a ball. Peter has a ball. Picture number 3, the dog has a ball too. The dog has a ball. So we're using the sentences above to help us. The dog has a ball. Now the last one, number 4, is a picture of a toy shop. Now the shop has toys. The shop has toys. Now, here the sentence has been jumbled up. So again, you could write this on your own piece of paper with your pencil. So picture number 1, there's Jane, she's reading a comic. The sentence, as it's written here, says, Jane here is. But we know that makes no sense. So you'd have to rejumble. Jane here is would be Jane is here. Jane is here. And there's Peter. Number 2 says, is here Peter? Now we know that that's not right. It makes no sense. So on your piece of paper, you can reposition the words. And it would be, Peter is here. There he is. Number 3, the dog's having some food, having his tea. Now we know that dog I the like makes no sense. But if we rejumble the words, I like the dog. Because if you remember, we have said this sentence in this book and previous books. I like the dog. And number 4 is Peter and Jane and the dog. And again, Peter, Jane and dog like the. Makes no sense. Peter and Jane like the dog. Peter and Jane like the dog. Again, another sentence that we've said numerous times throughout the books. And there's another one to test you. Number 1 says, there's a picture of number 1, which is a toy. Here, toy A is. Again, to put it correctly, we know that here is the first word because of the capital H. Here is a toy. Here is a toy. Number 2 is a picture of a tree. And again, tree here is a. Makes no sense. But we know here is our first word because of the capital H. Here is a tree. Here is a tree. Number 3, lots of toys. Like toys I. Again, we need to rejumble this to make sense. I like toys. I like toys. And number 4 is a little toy in a tree. A toy in a tree. And we know here is the first word because of the capital H. Here is a toy in a tree. That's quite a long one. Here is a toy in a tree. And it helps us down here, a toy in a tree. Here is a toy in a tree. Number 1. And in picture 1 is a picture of Peter and Jane, and they're messing about with a wheelbarrow. Looks like it's a lot of fun. Here, and is Peter, Jane. So if we rearrange those, here is Peter and here is Jane. Again, a sentence that we have said many times. Number 2, there's the dog with a newspaper in his mouth. Here is the dog. Here is the dog. Number 3 is Peter and Jane having a drink. I like Peter and I like Jane. I like Peter and I like Jane. And number 4, Peter and Jane playing with toys. Jane has a toy and Peter has a ball. Jane has a toy and Peter has a ball. And in the back there's all the answers. So in your best handwriting you can grab yourself a piece of paper and your pencil, and you can write out the sentences. But with all things, practice makes perfect.